unbelievable we are talking about this first National League Black umpire. And we talk about what we all know. It was very hard for Blacks during that time. But he was still able to become the most sought after umpire, starting in Bakersfield and then eventually for the National League. And it's all about risks to me in this. This man took risks. He took risks to go to school to learn how to be an umpire professionally. He gave up what was considered a very good job for a man, a Black man and a family man at that time. He asked his wife to give him 5 years to pursue his dream. And she stepped out on faith and took the risk and said yes and allowed him to do that, which I can only imagine how 5 years of having only one income and all of those things and what that did to the family. But he was able to achieve this goal and he ended up getting a job with the National Baseball League. And they talk about how he had his own style. He became sought after because he had his own sort of swagger to how he chose to umpire. And it became, a tragedy to find out that he passed so young, and that he didn't fully get to live this long life fulfilling his dream, although he did fulfill his dream early on. The most surprising aspect of this documentary, I think, is that even today, there are only 6 umpires who are African American in the National Baseball League. And it's just like this is still this uncharted territory still. But it's great to know that he paved the way and opened the door.
These reviews were unbelievable. Um, Here they showcase Art Williams, who was the first black umpire in USA Major League Baseball. They provide us with lovely emotional testimonials from people close to him, describing the struggles and talking about his style or technique as an umpire. He unfortunately died too young, and this film is about his determination and drive to fulfill his dream in a world not only ignoring him, but effectively against him. Um, I just learned a lot about how it was back then and still is to some point to this day. And it was quite impressive and inspirational. I had a great time watching this film.
Unbelievable tells us about the story of the first Black umpire in the National League, Baseball League. And yeah, a story that we don't really hear about a lot. I mean, they were saying, nobody really looks at the umpires. Um, but what a fascinating story of how he came to be where he is and the incredible risks that he took, um, and faith that he had in order to make that happen. Um, Especially for the time and place where he was. Um, Getting to hear from people that knew him was really special, and also I think shows just how recent it was. Like, it wasn't that long ago that this happened. Unfortunately, he passed so young, and we never got to see his full potential. But he clearly made such an impact and such a difference, and is an inspiration for so many people. Because he was able to do this, and I just the amount of like character and inner strength and belief and faith that had to take, as well as the support of his wife and his family, to allow this to happen, is just absolutely incredible. So I loved getting to learn about this, and a wonderful piece. It was really well put together. I loved having the framing of the one interview in the middle of the baseball field. I thought it was really really nice to look at. I thought this was very thoughtfully done and a great story well told.
Unbelievable is a really great documentary. I love the storytelling. I love the pictures, the interview style, the way we see all of it woven together in the final documentary. I think it'd be a really, really cool documentary to spread widely, especially during Black History Month and honestly any time of the year. It's a really great story and beautifully told.
This is the story of Art Williams, who is one of the first black umpires in minor league baseball, just as Jackie Robinson and many other of the greats. There's still more education and more room for space for these people to be discovered and have their moment in the spotlight. And that's what it is for this gentleman here. And so we get to essentially see his journey from playing baseball to having this opportunity to really dive into the umpire community and what this was like for him. And we see this through the eyes of his family members, mostly his brother, as his brother recounts the story. And it's very nostalgic, it's very reminiscent. You get to see photos and videos and archive footage of this time, but also it plays with a really nice soundtrack as we really get a feel of this American baseball vibe, honestly, essentially, with movies and TV shows being rebooted, such as A League of Their Own. There is bringing up this space of relevance and importance to make landmark pieces such as this one, so that these people also get to have their moment of truths, just like many other people that we get to learn about in the history of sports.
Unbelievable. So I think the first thing that popped up for me about this documentary is the graphics that they used for the archival. I think it was a really great choice because it shows how old / how long this sort of story is, and it places us in that specific time zone, in the appropriate time zone. So I think that's always appreciated, especially for those who do not know much about the story. So it just shows that the filmmaker made a choice towards that, and they were very what's the word? They were very intentional, there we go, about what they were using and then relating that to the story. So I think that was interesting. I did enjoy the tracking shots that they incorporated in the stadium. I think that was, or on the pitch rather, that was a really great choice. And I think it makes the story more impactful as a filmmaker. I like the cinematic choices to have the sort of wide shot as well, and then the medium shot, and punching in between the two, and punching in between the tracking shots as well. I think that was a great choice. Yeah, placing the man in the middle, I think, was very artistic, and I appreciated that. I liked the music choice as well. There was a hint of soul sort of as well, relating to the subjects and the time as well. I think that was a great choice. I like the ideas of, I like that how the filmmaker decided to tell the story by, obviously Art has passed away, so we can't really use him for a specific interview. However, I did like how he sort of used the people closest to him and around him, and that influenced him, as well as the sort of things like baseball, to sort of build this portrait of who this person was and what he meant to the people that he interacted with and inspired. I think that was very powerful, impactful, and I think he built up Art very well. I also like the sort of play on words at the end for Art, for the person of Art, but then also for the for art itself, artistic expression, was very well portrayed, and I think his story is very inspiring, and it is clear that those who were interviewed were inspired by him as well. Yeah, and I think it addressed some really great topics.